I would like to welcome everyone here today and our viewing audience to the July 8th meeting of the City of Davenport Zoning Board of Adjustment. Your participation in city government is appreciated and welcome. If you have a mobile device, please turn it off, and it may interfere with the room's electronics. My name is Jim Reistruffer, Chairman. To my far left is Bridget Carlson. To my immediate left is Tom Quinn. To my right is Dan Darling, members. Staff present is Scott Coops, Attorney Mallory Hoyt, and Laura, Laura right? Okay, just wave. The Zoning Board of Adjustment is a 5-member unitary board established by state law. We are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council to serve without compensation for a 5-year term. The board meets twice a month to hear appeals involving hardship from strip application of current zoning laws. We also grant special uses and rule on administrative appeals. Is there any corrections to the meeting from our last meeting? I need an approval.
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed. Old business. I see no old business. Now we get into the new business. Request HV 21-04 of Nick Roman, DBA K9 Resorts, I guess that's QC, Quad City, on behalf of CLC Realty LLC at 1409 East Kimberly Road for a hardship variance to construct an 8-foot fence in the near yard for an animal care facility exercise area. Section 17.09.030.B.1 of the Davenport Municipal Code restricts this fence to be a maximum of 7 feet in height. Staff? I'm sorry, is the applicant here? Yeah. Okay.
Scott Copes, Department of Development and Neighborhood Services. This property is appropriately zoned, but it does require a hardship variance in that there's a little bit of a quirk to our zoning code that animal care facilities are required to have a set fence, and they listed a range 6 to 7 feet. But most of the zoning districts in which this use is allowed allow an 8-foot fence. So we're here today to prove something that is a little bit strange, because right now the property owner could put a fence around the outside of his property lines, or right at the property lines, and have it be an 8-foot fence, and he would be in compliance with our code. So it's weird, but we're here, and I can show you that this is the site, and in the rear is where they're going to have the outdoor exercise areas. There are not going to be any kennels per se outdoors, but they have those kennels inside, but they have some exercise area outside. So the property zone C2. It's surrounded by C2 properties on all sides. To the south, there's actually another commercial property between this property and the residential homes further to the south. As I mentioned before, the petitioner could, by right, construct an 8-foot fence on the site. So here's the subject property. Here's that additional parking lot to the rear that I was mentioning, and then here are the homes on, I don't know if that's 35th Street, I can't remember. So that's a little background. And here's the zoning. It shows you the zoning districts a little bit better here. So they are completely surrounded by commercial properties. And that kind of shows you the tree cover a little bit there to the south. So the blue area is where they're proposing an 8-foot fence. There's nothing there right now. The building obviously is all existing. And so that those blue portions of the blue fence is what we're approving, the height of it. A 7-foot fence would be allowed there in those locations, but they're proposing an 8-foot fence for safety and security reasons. This is just a little bit more zoomed in on the plans. And so this is this type of style of fence it's going to be. It's supposed to be noise buffering and reducing. We did send out notices to all property owners within 200 feet. We have not had any comments one way or the other. So our findings, this is, the code does actually result in a hardship here in that the petitioner could have an 8-foot fence, but not when this use is being located at the property. Number 2, physical and topographical conditions. They ensure that there are not going to be any adjacent properties impacted given the adjacent commercial lots. And number 3, a unique circumstance has been established. I've never seen a code section like this that allows an 8-foot fence and most of the whole yard except for when there's a kennel on the other side of the fence. And so that is a unique circumstance. And number 4, protection of essential character. The essential character will not be changing. The property, as I said, could construct an 8-foot fence, and so that wouldn't change the character because that's an allowed fence, and they can construct one now and around their kennel, but just where the kennel is completely enclosed is where that 7-foot fence has to be. So the character of the neighborhood isn't going to change because they could do the 8-foot fence either way. 8-foot fences are allowed in this commercial area, so the staff doesn't see any impact on the essential character. Staff recommends the board adopt staff's findings and approve the request HV 2104 as proposed, allowing an 8-foot fence around an animal care exercise facility. And if the board has any questions, I'm available.
Members?
Just one, Scott, I mean, it seems like a pretty straightforward case to decide. I mean, assuming that this was approved, would this generate any changes to the ordinance? Would anything occur? Would anything
Sure.
follow up from this?
Right, yeah, that's probably something that I should or could have mentioned in the staff report or my presentation, that, yeah, we will be pursuing a code correction with this to make it consistent with the allowed fence height of 8 feet. There's no discernible reason why they chose to put it at 7 feet when the actual ordinance allows 8. I think it's an oversight from the code drafters. They brought in some language from some other areas, and I don't think that they noticed the two didn't align.
Okay. Any other board members got any? Okay. Okay, thank you, Scott. Applicant, you want to come up to the podium and present your case? You want to give us your name, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Nick Roman. Presenting this case, I currently operate a couple other businesses in Davenport and worked well with the city of Davenport, so I'm looking to start this business on Kimberly Road. It is a franchise company, Canine Resorts, and they've opened about 20 so far, and then this year they're opening another 65 across the United States. One of the reasons around the 8-foot fence is it is a national standard for dog kennels, because 6 to 7 foot, you can get some dogs in there that could potentially jump the fence. So really want to try to get the 8-foot fence in there, not only from a safety standpoint, cosmetic, it is sound barrier, so it should dampen some of the sound. And then kind of the view from the top there, there's really no residential properties that would even see into the area, even the businesses on the side, the way the businesses kind of step down along there. The one restaurant, the 1235, sits up quite a bit higher, but there's a full tree line in there. That's currently not even operational, but they wouldn't necessarily, that's the back of the side of the business. There's no windows over there, and they would not be able to see down in there. And then the 1423 is actually a animal surgery center. That's elevation is about 6 foot down from my building there, and there's a tree line there. So really nobody would be able to see from the back, to the back of the building at all. And that's really why I'm asking for the variance and going from 7 foot up to 8 foot.
Any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Roman?
Who owns the extra parking lot that's behind your,
Yeah, so 1235 owns that whole lot that wraps around there. It's been several restaurants, and I think it was sold right before the COVID hit, and they were going to open a new restaurant there, and it never did open. But yeah, they own the property that wraps around the back of my land there, and it's all parking lot, and then it's hard to tell from the picture, but that's kind of a ravine that drops down, and it's all wooded there, and it's basically like a drain off type area.
Nick, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you going to have dog houses out in that?
No.
Or what hours do you think you're going to have dogs in that area?
So a little bit about the business. This is a high-end dog kennel. It's something that you've never seen in the Quad Cities, and you really don't see them in the Midwest. It's kind of a new concept. It's kind of like going to a high-end hotel on vacation. So the dogs always stay inside. The fenced-in area in the back in the blue is actually a play area. So there's certain hours out of the day that the dogs will be out there. And then there's actually 2 play areas on the inside if there was rain or snow. My operating hours would roughly be from 7:30 in the morning till 7 at night, and that's 365 days a year. So, but yeah, after 7 o'clock, there'll be no dogs out there.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes.
So when I'm in the doghouse, can I check in?
Right. You can for a small fee.
Small fee.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, the dogs have it pretty nice. They have their own beds, TVs, heated floors, anything you want. But yeah, you can certainly stay there. Yeah.
I have another question.
Yeah.
On the side of the building where it says it has the north and the arrow, what are those things on the outside?
Those are the HVAC,
Okay.
the air conditioned units. So those, there'll be a small concrete pad that's poured along there.
Okay.
And that will all be obstructed by the wood, the trees that are currently there right now.
Any other questions from the board members?
I guess just curious what the 4 little hooches are inside the fenced area.
Yep. So as dogs can kind of go in and out there, we typically don't. One side's a small dog area, one side's a large dog area. You don't typically want those dogs passing each other. So at times when we're bringing dogs in and out to the play area, you would put them in there, but they would not be in those 4 areas for more than a couple minutes. They
It's a
wouldn't.
staging.
Yeah, they wouldn't sleep there or stay there.
Don't let your big dogs eat my papillon.
There you go.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
Coming down.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And, the city of Davenport's been really great to work with, so I appreciate it. Yep,
Thank you.
thanks.
Does anyone in the audience want to speak in favor of this request? I see none. Anyone in the audience speak opposed to this request? See none. Applicant, do you have any final comments?
No.
Okay. Board discussion. Board members have any final thoughts? No? No? Okay. I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve HV 21-04.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call, Scott, right?
Darland,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Boyd Carlson,
Yes.
and Rice Struffer.
Yes. Your variance has been approved. Thanks for coming down.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got some other business, which we're not gonna discuss anything, so just decline everything. Everything's turned out fine for me, and so we don't need to go any further. So, okay. So, ask a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
It's adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.